honor, loyalty,
respect.
Hey everyone, Kismet here, hanging out on my Elementalist. In this video, we're going to talk about the Elementalist. I was helping a member tell us, get an understanding of the character, and I decided to turn it into this guide. Now, to be quite honest, I really struggled with this character. Below level 20, I kept dying over and over and over, and really had to stop playing this character, and then come back to him later and really learn how to play. It doesn't play like you just stand there and rotate your skills. You actually have to be actively switching elements all the time. But once I came back and mastered that, this is one of my favorite classes to play. Speaking of elements, let's talk about the 4 elements of the Elementalist. And they are fire, water, air, and earth. Also over here where your boons and conditions are, it will show you what mode you're in. In this case, I'm currently in air. You can also see the boon from the signet of air, as well as a crafting boon. Now on the left hand side on the bottom, these are your weapon skills. I currently have a main hand weapon, which is my scepter, and an offhand weapon, which is a dagger. I normally consider these my DPS or traveling weapons, and we'll get more into that later in the video. Now here on the right hand side at the bottom are your skills. The 6th skill is your healing skill, 7, 8, 9 are your utility skills, and 0 is your elite skill. And these can be changed before you go in battle based on what you're doing. Now that we got past a little bit of the basics of the Elementalist there, let's dive deep into traits. Now at level 80 you have 70 points to spend in traits. And if you need to reset your traits, you need to find this person, the Elemental Trainer, and reset your traits. Now from the trainer, you need to also make sure that you have your books for all 3 levels, the Adept, Master, and Grandmaster trait tiers. In this example, we're going to set some healing skills, also known as a healing build. We're going to set some traits along the water line. We're also going to set some traits along the arcane line, and a little bit in air magic. If I was going to tell you my traits, I would say air 10, water 30, and arcania 30. This refers to how many trait points that are in each of those lines. And then I would break it down even further from there, and say air 3, water 5, 1, 11, arcania 1, 5, and 8. Now these traits are set for condition removal and also for healing. Do you like a healing build? Do you like a DPS build? Do you like a more survivability build? Or maybe a hybrid? The best way to experiment is Google Elementalist builds for Guild Wars 2 and try them out. Now your gear should equal what type of traits you're using. Since I'm more in healing, I have more of healing gear. I mainly use the staff for healing groups. When I'm running from place to place, I use my scepter and offhand dagger, as well as DPSing. For my utility skills, aka number 7, I'm using Arcane Wave. It's a combo blast finisher, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Next I'm using Signet of Earth. It improves your toughness as well as you can immobilize a foe. I also use the Glyph of Lesser Elementals and the elite skill Glyph of Elementals. Based on what weapon you have equipped and also what element you're in is what you will summon. Roughly, they're fire for damage, ice for healing, air for damage and stuns, and earth for tanking. Now I call these my heal skill set, and I make sure I've got my staff equipped. Now the Elementalist can make a ton of combo fields. Combo fields are in 2 parts. You put down the combo field, and then you do a combo finisher. Now the combo fields are not only for you, but also other players around the area. First I'm using a water field, which is number 3. Then I'm using Arcane Wave, which I currently have set to number 7, which is a blast finisher, which is going to cause some area healing. And you can see it right here at my feet. And when we talk about skill rotations, we'll talk about this a little bit more. Let's first talk about ground targeting. This is something very vital to the Elementalist. And there's 3 different modes. Here under your general options, toward the bottom here, you'll see a pop down for ground targeting. Normal is when you click on the skill, then you'll see a range indicator or a large circle on the ground. You'll move that indicator where you want to cast the spell and then click. Fast with range indicator, you hold down the skill like number 3, then you move your mouse where you want to cast, then you let go of number 3 and it will cast the spell. Now instant is my personal favorite. I'll put the arrow right where I want it to cast, then I'll go ahead and rotate through my skills and they'll instantly cast right where my arrow is. When you become more advanced at the Elementalist, you definitely want to try this. Now let's talk about skill rotation. Here's my DPS set. I'm using Scepter and Dagger, and I'll start with 4, then 2, then 3. Now the reason why I use all 3 of those together is number 4 is a combo field, and 2 and 3 will stack Might. The number 7, which will give me 5 criticals in a row, and then number 5. And then switch between the other elements and hit the number 5 skill, which is typically your strongest skill, getting criticals on each of those as well. If I get in trouble, I'm going to hit number 8, as well as number 9 and 0 to bring up my elementals and to create a shield around myself. Now this next set I call my travel set. I make sure I'm in the element air, as well as I put on my signet of air. This gives me a 25% boost to run speed. I also use number 4 and number 5 to speed myself across past mobs. And again, if I get into trouble, I hit number 8 for my shield and 9 and 0 for my elementals. Now you might be thinking, whoa, did I miss the heal rotation? No, you didn't. I will save that for last. My heal rotations are based on need and also based on combo fields, like 3 and 7 are great combo fields, and 4 and 7, and 5 and 7. Now if there's a mob that's being too aggressive toward me, I'll hit number 8 to immobilize him and get out of there. While still under the water element, I'll go ahead and hit number 9 and 0 to bring up my 2 elementals for some extra healing. Here's some DPS rotation. I did 4, then 2, then 3, now did 7, and then number 5. And then when I get in a little bit of trouble here, I'll go ahead and hit my arcane shield to protect me. And one last thing to talk about on the Elementalist, and that is the down state. What most people do when they're in the down state is they'll go into mist form. Now it's okay if you mist over to someone and allow them to res you. But if you mist right in the same spot or you mist away from people, we won't be able to res you because you can't be resed in mist form. And then you want to hit number 4 to bandage yourself or kill the mob, which will rally you again. It's important to remember there's no one set way on the Elementalist. Experiment around, try different element and rotation combos, and it's vital to remember not to stay in the same element like in water. You want to rotate through all of your various elements while all your skills are on cooldown. Well, I hope you find this primer to the Elementalist helpful, and we'll see you all next time.
Join the fun at kismetbp.com. Make sure to press like, subscribe, and share this video. Plus, leave a comment and let us know what you'd like to see in the future.